Episode 190 of the TFW podcast. That's freaking wrestling. You guys know, with the last 5 days we've had in wrestling, there was no way we couldn't do it big on this episode. We are definitely doing it big on this episode. Before I get into anything, I got to send some really quick apologies out. And I've been getting some text messages today. I got a couple messages on Twitter. No, guys, we can't hit everything that happened in the last 4 days. We will be sitting here talking for 16 hours. So I'm going to start with some apologies really quick. I apologize, and we apologize to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for that incredible non-sanctioned match that we are not going to talk a second of because we don't have time. My apologies to Randy Orton for continually coming back and getting his return stepped on by bigger and storylines and people. A year ago, it happened with Randy Orton or with CM Punk. This time it happened with a John Cena heel turn. My apologies to Randy Orton.
Sorry to that man.
My third apology is actually the Elimination Chamber matches. The actual matches for the men and women. My apologies. Y'all busted y'all ass. We don't have time to talk about the actual match. My apologies. My also apology is to Jey Uso for that incredible promo he cut on Monday Night Raw. That's the guy. When he's not saying yeet and he is invested and has a personal piece in stake, that is what he can do, and he's one of the best promos in the game when he's in that, but we don't have time to talk about that. And last but not least, I have to apologize to AEW because I was ready to come on here and talk about how much I enjoyed Dynamite last week, and they got a hell of a pay-per-view coming up this Sunday with Revolution with one of the bigger cards and better cards in a long time. We won't even have time to talk about that because the WWE decided to pull one of the biggest triggers, I will go as far to say, is in the history of WWE with the John Cena heel turn. So we got to start there. But before we do that, we got to do, of course, some intros. You guys know me at this point right now. I am Matt. We got Rhodesia in the house, fighting through. Jordan fought through a flu game or a drunk game.
A hangover.
Whatever you want to say. She is fighting through
life.
She's fighting through a life game right now. E tells us he had COVID 2 weeks ago. He kept that under wraps. He's still fighting through what he got going on. So they came to make sure that you guys got everything you needed, but caught in a reserve. Told you guys a month ago. We're going to have some awesome people on the podcast, and I'll be damned if this just didn't come up right now. We were supposed to do this last week. Hit Raymond up in the DM. I said, hey, man, maybe we push it back a week. And maybe we have you come on the pod so we can talk about Elimination Chamber results. Road to WrestleMania, we probably got a lot to talk about. I didn't think it would turn out like this all the way. So, boy, oh, boy, my guy, Randy.
Yes.
From Backstage Brawl.
Yes, sir.
What is up, my good man?
I'm good, man. It's a beautiful Wednesday, man. I just saw some hoops, man. For me, I'm a Catholic, so today's Lent, so it's the first day of, it's Ash Wednesday as well.
Yes.
So, there's some things I'll be giving up for Lent, some things I'm not particularly happy about, but at the same time, I'm ready for the fast. And at the same time, man, March Madness is heating up. The NBA season is gearing up right now, and wrestling is at a fever pitch right now, all the way around. It's just the fact that, like you said, AEW, right as we speak, is going on, and they've picked it up lately, and it's just being right now drowned out by what WWE is doing right now.
It's funny you say that, and I've always said, like, if I wanted to play the game, we could be much farther down the road than where we are right now. And you know, again, I'm talking about that political game, right? And you can see by my tweets, if I don't like something, I'm going to say I don't like it. If I love it, I'm going to say I love it. I don't care what promotion it is. I don't care who it is. I just give it up. Hell, Montez Ford released a video today. You know what I'm talking about. He released a video today.
How you see
that
it?
man blocked me
Is that how you
on
see
Twitter.
Why did he block you?
it? How'd you see it, Matt?
Oh, don't worry about that. I got my back channels.
You
I got
got,
my back channels.
you got burner accounts. You got burner accounts.
You know what I'm saying? But he blocked me because I said, hey, he's joking around too much. He's got to find himself on camera. It's too much of that over-the-top hokiness. I get blocked, but then what he releases now a video today, which is all I was talking about. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. So
He didn't block me, so.
Bullying works. Nah, but he ain't blocked me.
all right.
No. I know who he might have blocked earlier today after the tweet this morning.
Right? I saw that.
But you know what's funny?
And I love them brothers too, but goddamn, that was crazy.
You know what's funny? And like, of course, shout out to my girl Lovely on Twitter. She's like, did you at him? I was like, of course I didn't at him. You know what I'm saying? But I just said, so he saw it, evidently, or somebody told him about it. But yeah, we are blocked from existence on
Damn.
but it's all good. But point is, maybe they don't see it in the first minute, but they'll see it when it comes around. That we just be talking, we just be giving it up.
Yeah.
And now we got to get to it, guys. 15 minutes in, we got to talk about it. Everybody's been wondering and waiting our thoughts on it. Brandon shot us a text in the group chat yesterday and said he wanted hundreds of gunshots. He wanted us to really pop our shit off about, I told you so, we told you so. Not going to do that on this episode. Maybe next week. Okay? But I do want to pop our shit off. I do, because if you look at the Elimination Chamber and you go back and just listen to our shows, we caught everything that was going to happen on that show months ago. It wasn't just like a week ago. I even clipped up a video, because everything started coming out Monday. Oh, nobody saw the John Cena heel turn coming. Oh, nobody caught it. I clipped it up doing Raw. That was from last week's show where I talked about it. Now we're here. I want to get your guys' thoughts. Let's just start with immediate reactions. And I'm talking about in the moment. Immediate reaction. Okay, so yeah, everybody has seen it, but let me just set the scene. Cena wins the chamber. Cody comes out. Rock comes out. They do their thing. What I thought was so genius, the first genius moment, was Cody hitting the "go fuck yourself" line. And the reason why that was so genius was that would have been enough to send us home, and we would have been like, that was a moment. We got somebody on WWE TV saying "go fuck yourself," and they didn't bleep it. And it was Cody Rhodes telling The Rock that. That on its own, if they would have faded to black at that point, we'd still be talking right now about, man, where does that rank in the moments in WWE history in the last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? So they hit that just for them to then give us the heel turn. Immediate reaction when you guys are watching and Cena's doing his over-the-top stuff in the background, right? Goes to shake Cody Rhodes and give him the bro hug and looks at Rock. Immediate reaction. What were you guys thinking?
I was shook. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I just stood there because me and my brother was watching. Because thankfully, like, he didn't have to go into the studio to do all the edits while the show was going, so he got a chance to watch it with me. So we just sitting back and just watching it as it has happened. I was like, all right. Like, I was like something rang in my head when, like, he said, "I'm sorry" to Punk when he pinned him. He said, "I'm sorry, I got to," and he pinned him. And then, like Cena's way too happy for this moment. Like, something, like, I don't, like, my spidey senses are tingling. I don't know what it's gonna be. Like, I can't. And it was the first time. And when it happened, I was like, it's the first time, probably since I was a kid, that I knew nothing about no damn dirt sheets. About no story, like when, like, Dave Meltzer giving it up in terms of what's gonna happen, like, months in advance, what's gonna happen at Mania, like, none of that. I did not, like, I knew Cody was gonna say, something like of the, be the hero and where he's at now, but I was like, what's gonna be the payoff from that? What does Rock get from it if he says no? And I'm like, it's either, I'm thinking in my head, Drew maybe definitely would sell his soul in a heartbeat the way he's been crashing out. Seth, because you can't trust Seth at all. And then I thought Punk, because I'm like, maybe, there's been water under the bridge, and Punk wants to main event at WrestleMania.
You said it, yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I would have never thought Cena, because he's retiring, it's too late to pull that off. And then when they pulled it off,
and that was what Rhodesia said last week. That was Rhodesia. That was her whole point when I made a comment about maybe you go Cena because it's best for business. She was like, he's been there for 25, 37 years. You can't do it right now, which made it even more genius.
It was.
I would just say this. I know you said immediate reaction, but I just have to say the genius part of how even Cody was dressed in black. You had Rock dressed in black. So even they were trying to plant these seeds that just maybe, Cody will somehow maybe sell his team with Rock, but not sell his soul. How can he play that off? But when we knew Cena made that look to Rock, my immediate reaction was, no, yes. Like, because we've always wanted this. I've never turned my back on John Cena. I've always loved John Cena. Even when he was Super Cena, I could always appreciate him. But like I said also on the pod last time, if this is something that Cena wants to do, he definitely deserves it. If he wants to have a heel run to say goodbye, au revoir, let him do it. But I just did not think that. Don't put disrespect on his name. He has gone this long, just like The Undertaker was The Undertaker until his Hall of Fame induction speech. Like, he was never other than The Undertaker. So to me, it was no, yeah. Yes.
Was you.
No, yeah. That was me.
The resident TFW pod Cena hater. Eshaun. When you saw that moment, well, actually, before you get that part, were your boys watching with you?
So I was just going to tell you that story. So it's funny. So they actually were up watching because they were really excited, man. Like Ian, my youngest son, Randy, he really loves multi-man matches. So he kept calling it the Royal Rumble. Like, no, this ain't that. This is the Elimination Chamber, right? So he was checked in for the women's match, and he was checked in. These both of them was when Cena was in his match. They were dead into it, right? Like literally, we got like a carpet in front of from our television. He's like on the top of the carpet, like with hands like this, hands on his cheeks. That he's just into it, the whole thing, right? So I think Rock came out at about 11 o'clock-ish, maybe 10. I'm not sure, something around that time, but it was about bedtime. So my wife, Katrina, said, boys, come upstairs.
No.
It's time for bed. And this was minutes before the turn, y'all. This is minutes before the turn.
Oh, no.
And Randy, especially my youngest son, loves John Cena. I think if he would have saw what what John did to Cody that night, I think he would have been one of them kid video memes. Because he would have been hurt. But no, like literally, Katrina spared them.
Brother, you didn't put your foot
before
down?
the turn.
You didn't put your foot down and say, hold on, Katrina, this show ain't over yet. Like, something about to happen.
Well, actually, like the funny thing is, I don't remember specifically what we talked about the previous show, but I just remember me going through a process when we were talking about like what could happen. Because I remember, Matt had went through booking Cody turning heel for the 150th time on the show, and I was like, look, man, I think it'd be more interesting if John Cena would have turned. But ultimately, as I'm going through it in my mind, because I'm just spitting as we're talking, I'm like, well, it can't happen. Because this is his farewell tour. He's not going to turn him heel and has a year left. Like, that wouldn't make sense, right? I thought it would be more interesting than anything else we could have picked if John Cena does it again, for all the reasons we probably would think of, right? But in that moment, I don't think that's popping off like that. So when she started saying, yo, y'all can go, I'm thinking it's already over. Matter of fact, I actually was thankful because we was watching Raw. We didn't get to Raw, but right in the early segments, they dropping the S-bombs and whatnot, right? Katrina in the other room, my wife in the other room, Randy. You got that watching that nasty language with the kids. I'm like, huh? You hear? I can't hear you, baby. You in the other room, right? And they just keep going off, right? So when Cody dropped the F-bomb, I'm like, okay, good thing they're not down here. That's all I would have needed. This woman been breathing down my neck. with the F-bomb. Like, right? So I never thought, I didn't think this would happen. Like, we can say, like, hey, it was in my mind that it's a possibility. I thought it would be interesting, but I didn't think it was going to happen. So when it happened, I'm like, oh, snap. This is some good stuff. This is some really good stuff, right? Like, the possibilities for this one is crazy because one of the most shocking things that I think we've seen in a long time. As I'm thinking about it, because I think I might have heard somebody ask this question. And this is just one of the questions I have for y'all. It's like, this is the biggest heel turn in wrestling, right? In our recent mystery, right? We talk about, like Matt and I go back a little further than you on Rhodesia, Randy. You know what I'm saying? Because we remember when Andre did it. Like, right? I kind of remember Andre did it, right? We were there for it, but like it's probably like my son maybe watching Cena right now. I don't know if I would understand the magnitude of when I'm watching because I was so young when it happened. But we've seen some big heel turns. Like, this might have been the biggest, most surprising heel turn that I've seen in quite some time that might set the stage for a whole nother year of great shit on WWE TV.
Well, I think we gotta go. This is by far the most surprising
since Hogan.
No, even besides Hogan, because there was some talks of maybe it would be Hogan. You just couldn't believe that Hogan did it, but it was some talks. If you were into, the hotlines and that kind of thing, it was some talks about Hogan could be turning heel. There really wasn't talks about Cena. This was us kind of looking at it, but there was nothing they showed on television outside that press conference, which now, if we look at that press conference, it was all over it. I'm putting myself in the Elimination Chamber. I'm not even qualifying. It's best for business, et cetera, et cetera. It was there. But in terms of shocking or unexpected, absolutely, this is the most unexpected heel turn that was good in history. We've seen some bad heel turns. It's just like, why the fuck did they do that? Big Show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this has been all over the place. We know that's not it. But in terms of biggest, would you guys say this was bigger than Hogan when he joined the NWO? Bigger?
It's crazy to say yes now, but I know it's going to be when they put that 17 on him and how the crowd's going to react. Because I know Hogan is easily, everything aside against Terry. That moment in time 29 years ago was huge in wrestling because you never would have thought someone who represented, American style wrestling or the American broadcasting of the sport or industry thereof. No one thought a person like that who was such an icon everywhere on your TV for about a decade would ever turn and be the bad guy. And then when it happened, it was just so shocking. Even though there were rumblings, in the early version of the early chat rooms back in the day, and the toll-free hotlines back in the day, that was one thing. But to see it happen in real time at that point in time was unheard of. And then to think that you're trying to reinvent the wheel again, and the way that it happened was a perfect blend of how they did it with Hogan and how McMahon turned The Rock the first time.
Yep,
because
Survivor Series.
Because remember the words that he told Cody a couple weeks prior. Every certain things that he said that Cody was, whoa, Rock is not making any sense. He's just out there rambling, being drunk, rocka. I'm like, you're really listening to behind all the, the bias BS that certain people have against Dwayne. He's basically reciting everything that Vince told him in '98, word for word. Minus a few things. When he questionably said, "I want your soul," that was
that's something Vince would have said, though.
Yeah,
in real life,
in real life.
So, but the fact that he said, I'm like, okay, I smell a rat, and then the way that it gave you so many different shades of all the top heel turns because it gave you hints of Hogan, it gave you hints of Andre. It also gave you hints of Austin when he turned at WrestleMania against The Rock. It gave you everything that you needed, and it didn't have to be in your face with it. It was subtle.
Right.
But because it was Cena, it was the person that you knew for a fact outside of Rey Mysterio would never, ever, ever turn heel. And the fact that he actually did it at this juncture of his career, chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss, baby. Chef's kiss.
I'll do the opposite. I'll say that probably the biggest would be Hogan joining the NWO. That's what you mean by turning, right?
Yep.
Okay. And of course, I was not watching at that time, but this information, the data is incomplete. So right now, we don't know how this is going to look after John Cena. Yes, for me, who've watched John Cena when he first debuted to where he's probably going to end up finishing his wrestling this year. I mean, Hogan created the NWO. That went on for years, and we still talk about NWO in many different forms, and they've had different people in and out of it. So maybe biggest, you could probably say John Cena turning, but the most impactful will have to be Hogan, just because he had then, because you said that was 29 years ago, we still talk about NWO to this day. So to me, that's more lasting, more maybe meaningful in the wrestling business. I'm gonna probably go with Hogan. Again, I was not there for it at all, but when I first started watching wrestling, that was the first rumblings. Hogan turned bad guy. Hogan turned bad guy. He has this whole faction in a whole nother company. Of course, I don't know what all this stuff means because I only got to see SmackDown on UPN. And so that's once a week, maybe. So I wasn't even fully watching it, all the shows. So to me, just knowing, hey, Hogan, you mean Hogan that my older brothers used to watch? He was a good guy. What do you mean that he turned bad? So for me, I think the Hogan one is a bigger one because of the lasting effects. But now if we go 29 years from now, if we're still here as humans in our form that we are now, we might say, depending on what is birthed from Cena turning heel. But for me, let's go with Hogan.
What say you, Matt? I'll go after you.
They're different. And this is, I don't want to cop out by saying that, but the Hogan turn was to turn around an entire company, right? Like there was a plan to have this outsider angle where it looks like we are coming in from the outside, which is WWF at the time, to take over the company WCW. And before they come on and completely just say, hey, this is not what that is, we're going to have the biggest guy in WWF history be the leader of this said group and faction. That's what, of course, changed WCW's fortune was that. The business is not going to pick up the way it did for WWF now as it did in WCW. But that's not the point of this. So if you're talking about bigger, absolutely it would be Hogan to NWO for WCW. But it is bigger in its own sense because it didn't have to happen. Right? Like they didn't have to do this. And I do want to get to the real life part.
Cena turning.
Yeah, I do want to get to the real life part of this, you know, before we kind of wrap, because for Cena to do what he did, and he didn't have to, he could have easily went around and just played the greatest hits. He only got 10 months left. And if I only show up once a month, I can come out with my new shirts, throw up the hustle, loyalty, and respect, hit a couple AAs, hit a couple STFUs, send the crowd home happy, and nobody's complaining because we just want to see our favorites play the hits. That's all we care about. If Roman Reigns decides to do this till he's 52 years old, if Roman Reigns can still hit a spear and a Superman punch, that's all we care about. If The Rock decides that he's going to wrestle Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 62 and all he can do is a rock bottom people's elbow, that's all we care about. Play the hits for us. John Cena could have did that. So for him to kind of put his legacy on the line, and he's always going to be that guy. No matter if this falls flat on his face, it's not going to. But even if it falls flat on his face, it's going to hurt him a little bit, but he's still going to be John Cena. But to know I'm going to do something that is going to completely stretch me as a performer, something that we've never done, something that could blow up in our face, but I have faith in myself. I have faith in our creative team. I have faith in WWE that we're going to make this right. And I have faith in Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest indictments in this entire thing in a good way is how much everybody believes in Cody Rhodes.
And trust them. Yep.
This entire thing is about Cody Rhodes. Outside of course, Cena getting 17, if he gets 17, because we don't know what that looks like. But all of this that we've talked about for the last 2 years has been about making Cody Rhodes. Roman Reigns beating Cody in WrestleMania 39 was about making Cody Rhodes at 40. And then, of course, night 1 was about making Cody Rhodes in night 2. Night 2 was about making Cody Rhodes now the guy. And then now the interactions with The Rock, the interactions with everything that they have done, including this John Cena heel turn, is about Cody Rhodes. Can't have a major heel unless you have a major baby face. So sorry to kind of go on a tangent, but I do feel like they're just different. Biggest, if you look at from a business perspective, I don't think anything in history will be bigger than Hogan NWO. Even if Roman and Rock decide to show up on Dynamite Revolution on Sunday and they say we're going to be on Dynamite on Wednesday, you're not getting that increase in viewership the way that happened, 20 plus years ago in WCW.
Still be their highest watched show.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But they wouldn't be beating WWE for 82 weeks or 83 weeks in a row.
Tony Khan would be insufferable online if that ever happened.
But yeah, I agree with all you guys. I think that we were talking about like business. I was more so talking about just from a fan, like in the moment, like what was more impactful. I know that you two maybe didn't see some of the other bigger turns. Like another one was like when Macho Man finally turned on Hogan, like, right? And but you talk about Hogan and the NWO. I remember watching that pay-per-view. I was watching that pay-per-view, not expecting it to happen. Like, right? And I remember when Hogan came down, and then when he came down, he dropped the boot. Dropped the leg. I'm like, man, what in the world going on? Like for some reason, it didn't hit me like when John turned on The Rock. like I was watching Busted Open. I love Busted Open. I like listening to Bully talk. Cause a lot of times Bully and I have a similar, but Bully a lot of times sees, of course he's a performer. He still is a performer, right? So he sees some things that the fans not going to see, right? So he was talking about there was a 5-second delay from when John Cena looked at The Rock, and he felt like that was a little wonky. For me, I didn't notice that because that gave me time as a fan to react in the moment. Yep. Like, right? Like that what 5 or whatever seconds allowed me to kind of like get a grasp and like be kind of in shock, like, oh shit, it's happening. Like, right? Like I was going through kind of like emotions as a fan as I'm digesting what I'm seeing. When I watched Hogan, I saw it happening and I'm like, oh shit, he about to drop the leg on him. Oh no, wow. Like it wasn't hitting me like with John. And again, I was more of a Hogan fan back in the day, especially as a kid. Like rock and wrestling was like everything for me as a kid. Like, right? John Cena was never a fan of Babyface, Super Cena, and any of those iterations of him. The only John Cena I like was the Chain Gang John Cena. Once he switched over to the Babyface guy, he wasn't for me. But it was just surprising seeing him team up with his former arch nemesis, right? I remember seeing the promos with The Rock and Cena going back and forth, right?
Once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime. Talking about that?
Yeah, right?
Now it's twice in a lifetime.
Should have stayed one time.
Should have stayed one time.
Right? Like I remember seeing all those things. So this to see that in the moment, this for me as a fan, it meant something more. And I'm like, oh, bet that this now John Cena can have a storyline reason why he get that damn ball spot fixed, right? And he can take them 1980s jeans off and them old man ass shoes. And he can finally get some new gear, right? He's not pigeonholing to try to look like he in his 30s and the dude's like almost in his 50s. He actually look like a mature man.
I don't care about no ball spot on his head.
I'm like, wow. Well,
I do wonder now.
I do go to Turkey. He can go to Turkey and get that done.
Hair fixed now? Or
he should.
I wonder now, right?
Like, bald. You see
I know,
that?
but you can look at that two different ways right? now.
If he turned around, like, oh, this is like
the rooftop became the moon roof at this point.
So he may cover that bad boy up because he can cover it up, and then that's the whole thing of look at the Rock,
corporate,
right? Rock suit and everything,
yeah.
New
or
gear,
he can keep it,
new hair,
and then like because so. Now let's really get into it. So I asked you guys about your initial thoughts. My initial thought was they did it. I think actually I even said it out loud. They did it because I wasn't shocked because I said it on last week's pod. But when Cena stayed in the ring, I was like, Cena doesn't need to be in the ring right now. Mm-hmm. So I was watching that. Rock comes out, they do the thing, Travis Scott. I'm like, Cena's still in the ring. Because my whole thing is they have to go home. Like, how does this end on television? He was just sitting there, standing. I'm like, he doesn't need to be in the ring right now. So unless The Rock, it's a physicality piece, and he hits Rock with the AA or something like that, I'm like, he doesn't need to be in the ring. So when they shot to his face, I think I verbally said it out loud, like, they did it. So for me, it wasn't much of a shock. It was more of excitement of like, I can't believe we are about to get. It's kind of like when they brought CM Punk back at Survivor Series in November in Chicago.
And stepped over Orton's
return. And I talked about that. Okay. And that's what I was telling Matt. Like, they didn't have to give us that. You had Randy Orton in the tuck. You had the men's war games. You had the women's. There was nothing on that show where you say, as advertised, we didn't do enough to send these fans home happy or anybody watching on TV. But they gave us Punk anyway. And I kind of feel the same way about everything they gave us with this John Cena heel turn is because they didn't have to do this, right? If Cena wants to do this, and it sounds like Triple H talked about it, he wanted to. To your point, Rock, I don't know if you watched the press conference after Elimination Chamber. I don't know if you guys watched it or not.
Super good.
I did.
But he talked about that pause. And he said Cena, they talked about it, and Cena wouldn't go until The Rock did something. He didn't say exactly what it was. I'm guessing it was probably some movement or something. And he said after Cody hit that line, go fuck yourself, he said, I waited. And I waited. And I waited. He even used the word uncomfortable. He said, it was an uncomfortableness there because we're just waiting. He's like, but I wanted to wait. He's like, and then I gave, the move, and then we went to the next piece. But he was really kind of what he was talking about. And people give, The Rock a lot of shit for always trying to put himself over or needing to be the goody two-shoes. But I would love to just sit and talk wrestling with him for hours because I was damn near getting goosebumps listening to him talking that press conference about how they think about everything. And he talked about that. He said, we think about all this. So when I came out of Bad Blood and I did the gesture and people said it was for nothing, it was. You just don't know what it is yet. He's like, we're always thinking about this stuff. But to kind of hear him quarterback Travis Scott and it's the Cena piece and what he was going to do, it's like, man, that is really fucking cool to see. And then to hear Triple H just talk about Cena wanting this challenge. And Triple H said, I don't know really what kind of this is going to end up looking like. But for Cena to be able to say, you know what? I want to be challenged. I want to do something that I haven't done. Let's go all the way with it. That takes some balls. That takes so much balls to do that. As I said earlier, because it could not go across the way you want it to. It could go, and I don't think it's going to happen. The fans may always just ride with John Cena. What if they did this heel turn? And Rock talked about that too in the press conference. He talked about how like Toronto's typically a heel country. He said it was when it was me and Hogan at Mania. And he said we didn't know how the crowd was going to react. And I know what I was trying to explain to Rhodesia what he was talking about because he didn't really get too much into it. What he was talking about was how the crowd react when Cody said, go fuck yourself. And what Rock was talking about was not going with whatever you're supposed to do, but going with what the crowd is doing. And what he was saying was, if you look at the way the crowd reacted in a good way to Cody saying, go fuck yourself, all right, we're on point. If the crowd doesn't, because to his point, it could be a heel town. And if Cody says, go fuck yourself, and the crowd boos, it comes across completely different than what they gave us. So now, as performers, Cody, you have to look a little differently after you hit that line. Cena, you may have to react a little differently. If the crowd is booing, you can't be jumping up and down and then giving them a bro hug if the crowd's not with you. So it was a lot of that. I just thought that was awesome. But like, what a moment. What an absolute moment for them to just double back the go fuck yourself with the Cena heel turn. It's like, you can't ask for much more. They did that perfectly.
But you know what? That line, the go F yourself line, that Cody was so out of character for him that I don't know how that crowd will react in a negative fashion. If you're typically those type of crowds, they wanna boo. but he wouldn't cheer like the cool anti guy.
Mm-hmm.
That line's a very anti-hero type of line. Like, right? Cody could have said multiple different things. Like, probably a couple months ago, he would have said something more do-gooder, right? Like, the fact that he got real and put some bass in his voice, well, of course they're going to cheer that, because that's what they want. That's what they want to hear from him. Like, right? Now, I'm glad that the kids was upstairs, but as a grown man, you said what you're supposed to say, because, like, this man is touching your cheek, caressing you.
He caressed them again. He
did
came in with the.
So it was soft as shit, wasn't it?
We don't know, man. We weren't
It
there,
was
dude.
soft as shit, wasn't it? Like, I could tell it was, man.
Unprovoked.
Hey, look. Let me tell y'all something. I felt good when he touched him.
I did a little bit too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Because that's somebody was talking about some Papa Tui hands. I don't know where I heard that from. But he was like, you see these hands soft because of Papa Tui.
Yeah.
So
Real quick, just a quick moment of levity. Did y'all see on the internet? I gotta get it out. Hold on. Talking about Travis Scott in the corner. They was like, why he saging himself?
because he knew it was about to happen.
Yeah.
He knew it was about to happen.
Homeboy is back there saging his own self.
There was a few people who tried to tell me online, oh, that was just a smack to the back or to his neck.
Okay.
If y'all don't go back and watch that punch,
You heard that.
he punched the hell.
Let me
heard
smack
that
you like
shit.
that. Let me smack you like
Shit
that.
out of that,
and you
man.
not want to hit me back. God
And
damn.
then what? And Cody injured now, right? Busted eardrum or
Allegedly,
something like that.
well, that's what Meltzer said. Busted eardrum.
Can't take nobody from the hood, man.
Yeah. Right, but like, so, and then Rock talked about that too. Rock said before they went out, because you could even hear Cody telling him to hit him while they were in the ring. And Rock just said, if you're going to get physical, make it count. Because once again, you have to. If he goes out there and throws a super ridiculous looking work punch, it completely throws everything off.
Yeah.
Right? Like it throws everything off. So, and all the people who say like, why was Travis Scott there?
We know
Maybe
why
I don't know who Travis Scott is, but
we know why he was there. Yeah.
and I think they shared on Monday Night Raw the hundreds of millions of views they got on social media. A lot of that is due to Travis Scott. Of course, the majority of it is due to John Cena turning heel, but Travis brings in a lot of eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
So you let that man do what he wants to do. So let's fast forward really quick. WrestleMania. Does John Cena cash in and win his record-breaking title against Cody Rhodes on night 2?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Ooh. I want to say I'm going to lock in and say yes, but because we're like 40-something days away, think about it is, for some, outside of you guys, because obviously since you guys called it, not many people seen John Cena turn heel. But because of that, it creates the excitement that you don't really know what's going to happen.
Right.
Because this is what it's led to us to believe. Like, we're led to believe the fact that John Cena is to win his 17th title. Now, see, for me and my boys at the Backstage Brawl, what we normally do is like, if it could all be so simple just to give him the 17th title, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there's also WrestleMania is in 2 nights. Anything can happen, which is why I'm thinking to myself, I said, self, why does this not, like, for whatever reason, like, it doesn't seem so concrete. Cody definitely not walking out with the title on that Sunday. I tell you that much. He's not walking out with the title.
So
No.
you think regardless, he's dropping it?
Oh, he's dropping it. Because
Put the ones up. So, I'm sorry.
because
He's not going back to Roman.
No, no,
He's not
no,
going back
no.
to Roman.
That'll be funny. That'll be funny.
E will quit this show. I promise you. E will be like,
But I will say, because of everything that's happening, I will not be surprised at some point that Roman does step in to check The Rock.
mm-hmm.
Because if Punk and Seth are going to go off at Monday, because I'm doing wrestling math in my head.
course,
This
of
is what we
course.
do at the Backstage Brawl. We just like to like throw the everything's not final, so we just like to just throw anything in that space and like, how would this piece work? So I'm like, I said, self, Monday night's going to be the steel cage match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Roman has not inserted himself into the road to WrestleMania yet, with just about a month left. what better way to do it than go to the Garden and say, Seth, I ain't forget about the Rumble. You double stomped me, bro. And Punk is like, hey, I'm still right here. I'm getting my main event no matter what. They might do that triple threat. Who knows? Maybe they not. Maybe they don't. But it pisses CM Punk to the point where he's not on the card. Remember what happened Survivor Series, right? Remember there was a certain favor.
Oh, there's a favor he needs. Mm-hmm. We still ain't talked about that favor yet. Or know what that favor is.
So what better way to cash in that favor at WrestleMania? Since he did say, John, I'll see you down the road. We had to deal with some business, meaning Seth.
Mm-hmm.
What's to say he doesn't fuck anything up and just show up night 2 of WrestleMania when everything's going peachy keen? You hear Paul Heyman saying, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the friend of the new. He comes out, you hear CM Punk's music come out, everyone thinking it's Roman. You see CM Punk come out, the crowd is like, oh, wait a minute, why is he out? Oh, the favor.
So then,
comes in.
So the way you're saying real quick before you, so the way you're thinking is we don't hear about the favor before the favor happens. That is where you're going.
I like that
because I'm thinking to myself, like, if you're gonna do Seth, and because like having Seth, Roman, and Punk in a triple threat match at Mania does not seem ideal. If you want Punk to be unhinged and crash out like the way he's supposed to, his motivation is trying to get the main event.
Right.
Period.
Right.
You're not to worry about night 1.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the main event. He's still not done. That story's still not done.
And if you think about it on Raw, and I said to the family, Matt and Rhodesia, on Monday when we had that excellent intro and Punk cut that hell of a promo, him and Seth doing the brawl, et cetera, and they went to commercial, and I said, the first thing that I thought about was, I said, there's still a chance. And Rhodesia said, there's still a chance of what? I said, there's still a chance we get Rock and Roman. Because if they announce Punk and Seth before Roman returns back to TV, they've already showed their hand, right? Like, Roman is not going to insert himself into a match that's already announced. That doesn't make sense. And then they come back, and 2 segments later, they say, we're getting Punk and Seth in the Garden in the steel cage match. And I'm like, oh, that's where Roman comes back at. And then gets his, proceed or come up is on both, if not just Seth, however that looks.
Just Seth.
But to your point, though, the triple threat match, something needs to be on the line. And I don't know what that would be. And I don't want to see the 2-nighter again. I don't want to see, a Cody and Cena night 1, and then the winner of night 1 takes on the winner of the triple threat match night 2. I'm good on that. But to me, Roman is in too big of a spot from what he's telling us. It was all about the Ulafala, and then it was all about getting his gold back.
Yep.
I can't see, the match would be great, but if we're going to see a steel cage match with Seth and Punk, we've already seen it on the first night of Netflix, with Raw. I don't want to see that again unless there's major stakes behind it. And I just don't know what major stake could be behind it for a WrestleMania, for that match to be somewhere where you could literally look at that and say, you know what, that should be the main event of night 1.
And we're talking about as a triple A or Rock and Seth? Okay.
Yeah. Because if you're going to do a singles, if you're going to do Punk and Seth, you wouldn't do it at the Garden in the steel cage.
No, I thought we were talking about Roman. I'm talking about Roman, Seth.
Then, in Randy's point, and if Punk is not even on the card, that would be wild.
You see, because it's like Punk's already pissed.
That would be wild.
He already got up on the new sturdy announce table that refuses to break now.
Boy, right. That will not break.
Know how to work.
The table does not know how to take bumps.
Not at all.
You have Punk on that table already spewing what he's spewing right now. He's basically getting his ducks in a row. If Seth is basically the main issue right now, the main block in his way, he can knock that out the Garden. And then whatever happens and Roman comes in and gets his comeuppance, it gives Punk free reign to basically do whatever. Punk can basically get in with whomever until WrestleMania, with everybody not necessarily knowing his plans until the night 2. And then while everybody's comfortable, Cena's like, okay, I got Cody right where I want him. And I bet you Cody's not even going to go to the match 100%. What makes it easy for Cena and all of a sudden you think Cena's gonna have him, and then boom, Paul Heyman comes out with the trump card, like, ladies and gentlemen,
boy. Roman
and then
would
you see CM
lose
Punk
his
come out.
mind, dude. You had
Cena,
a trump card and you didn't give it to me.
and the fact that The Rock, the Rock goes ape shit, he gets upset, that Cena doesn't get his moment. Somehow, some way, like, Punk gets into that match, he wins the championship, finally having his moment. Sorry, Cody. How that story moves off after, I guess that will write itself. But at that moment, what better way for CM Punk to still have his moment at WrestleMania? John Cena still be who he is currently as a new heel. Because you can't necessarily flesh that out by just winning at WrestleMania. It has to lead to something much bigger down the line as he's easing his way out of retirement.
Well, and so that's why I brought that up. So, E, we didn't get your answer yet. Do you think Cody loses to Cena and Cena wins that 17th at Mania?
Oh, Lord, I hope not. I hope not. I mean, I got to see this new heel version of Cena kind of play out. Like right now, I'm not for it. Y'all think about when you got night 1 and night 2. Because let's take a step back. Lady and gents. Let's sit back and pull our pants up a little bit. I think we have a little too much fun. We got to think about the players we got right now. We got potential main event world. I don't know the names of these championships. One championship that Cody has, right, versus a heel John Cena. We haven't seen a heel John Cena in 35 years, right? Rock potentially in this corner. Like, that is a big match that doesn't need a lot of shenanigans, right? So, however, like, Heyman, because we talked about it on another show, like, this trump card he has, I don't think they need to play that at a Mania, because what kind of trump card would Heyman have over the final boss, one of the big wigs and TKO? Like, what kind of trump card can he have that's bigger than them? Come on now, like, right? Like,
they could tell the story though. Paul Heyman's been in their family forever.
But we in an era of like realism, right? Like, it's like I don't know if Heyman really got it like that.
But right? What if Heyman took care of some business for them Samoans back in the day, and so now they owe him one. They owe him something.
Man, look, this is the Rock. They don't owe him shit. All right, like, right. This is the final boss. God damn it! Like, he don't like. It like, that's something they could do another night that needs that extra push. We got a heel faction like no other right now. We got John Cena and his bald ass head. We got The Rock and Travis Scott. Travis Scott, let me tell you how big of a heel Travis Scott became in the Terry household. I don't listen to a lot of the hippity hop music nowadays.
Hippity hop.
Oh yeah, I don't listen to a lot of hippity hop mumble music stuff, whatever. That mumbo jumbo. But I listen to Travis Scott though. Mm-hmm. Much like Drake, after he got blitzed by Kendrick Lamar, and I don't like Kendrick like that. I can't listen to Drake the same, man. He got some new studs, some new hits right now, Randy.
Sexy
new
songs
on Rap's Life. I skip it.
Sexy songs.
He got dog walk. That's what
I sure did.
I skipped him. Like, man, before, let me tell you something. A year ago, 2 years ago, if Drake had a new song on Rap's Life, that mug was getting played in my car. It was getting played in my car.
No more.
Right now, it's getting skipped.
Like, dog walk like Mahomes did against Philly.
Listen, Travis Scott came on the other night, and goddamn it, I got mad. I skipped that bitch. I'm like, man, I don't want to listen to this man. All right, so
we got to take this Cody thing hard, man.
He really does.
We got the biggest heel faction that we are almost as big as the NWO. We got The Rock, John Cena, Travis Scott.
It's one versus more. There's two more people
versus Cody Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? Brandy gonna be down there. The baby gonna be dressed up in a Cody attire. That is a big match at WrestleMania. We got that. Boom. We don't need no extra bullshit around it. That's there. That's there.
So then why would you not cash in then? Because you say you hope Cena does not win. Because if he doesn't win, is that heel turn in vain? It's not going to be. I'm only talking storyline. I'm only talking storyline. If he sold his soul to The Rock and he does not get his championship at WrestleMania, wouldn't the heel turn be in vain up to that point?
No.
So this is like watching another big movie, right? It's like you go to the movies and then the big nasty villains like the Joker, the Penguin, and the Riddler, they win. They beat Batman down the end.
For one of the episodes. For one of the episodes.
This ain't the episode. No. This is the movie. This is the blockbuster summertime movie that you done brought the whole family to go see, right? At the end of this big blockbuster movie, the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin
beat Bruce Wayne's ass.
They don't beat his ass, man. Left him hanging again. Like, right? Travis Scott them bust out the other eardrum. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that isn't an ending to me, right? So maybe that's unless if they want to do something like that, unless because you think because this is Cody getting his ass whipped twice in a row. You know what I'm saying? He got them hands on him at the Elimination Chamber. Then he goes to Mania, he get beat down again. Like, goddamn. Like, right? The only how they can do something like that is if they switch it, because I would think that will be night 2 main event. Maybe they put that on night 1. Like, right? He get his ass whooped.
You can't, man.
He get his ass whooped. So now
not this year.
You get that bad taste in your mouth, right? You can come back on night 2 with Gunther and Jay. Jay gives us the Yeet Fest and the new championship to kind of rinse the palate. Maybe but you can do that.
It wouldn't be a nasty taste if John Cena wins his 17th championship.
He is the nasty heel that has beat down the biggest babyface in the company and in the world right now. You think people are gonna get up and supposed to cheer that? That's not what they're supposed to be doing.
I know what y'all suck, but the same way in Elimination Chamber, nobody watching Elimination Chamber was like, man, that ending was horrible because Cody was left laying with a Cena heel turn. No,
but it was the shock of what we saw though. Like the shock is over now. At that particular point, we're gonna be submitting that John Cena is the Joker, is the new Joker with a new hairdo, new pants and shoes. At that point, you're not cheering him. You're not supposed to.
No, you're not supposed to. But I do think we got to be careful of, because what you're saying, I get what you're saying. But that's a little bit of the old Vince McMahon booking, is the main event always has to end with the babyface winning. Like, just because it's WrestleMania, we got to show 48 hours later. I'm sorry, it'd be 24 hours later for night 2, which is Monday Night Raw, which is the new season premiere. So I don't think it has to be a situation. Once again, I get what you're saying, but I think there's a world where easily Cena can win that match in night 2, win the championship, and we're off to the races after that. I can't wait to see what it is. I told Rhodesia, though, what I am so excited about, and they have to go down this road. As I said last week, all these promos are connected. Cody Rhodes can't trust anybody.
He can't.
Everybody he has trusted besides Randy Orton. And when Randy Orton turns on him, oh my God, that may be the breaking point for Cody. When that guy turns on him. Everybody else has turned on or was not there for Cody Rhodes. That story arc that has to come with I can't trust anybody. Everybody is after this title. A man can only go through so much. That I can't wait to see. I cannot wait to see. Anything else you guys want to hit on? Because we talked about it for almost an hour now. Because we still got to get to Jade's return and the Bianca and Naomi of it all. And then I do want to hit really quick on like the Rhea Ripley title loss from Raw Monday. Anything else around John Cena, The Rock, Cody Rhodes?
I just want to say before you go to the next topic, like you hit on something earlier in the dialogue where you mentioned in terms of like The Rock's selflessness and IQ for the business, or in terms of being creative. I think fans online confuse like their disdain of Rocky as this like, as this person that's for self. He's always been about the business. Like if you watch Rock's initial run from 96 to 2003 when he's active, he never not once went into business for himself. So why would you believe he's trying to go into business for himself now? He's always found ways to put others over. Hell, even when he did take the title from Punk because he had to tell that story with Cena that second time around, he still put him over, and conversely, like gave Punk probably even more in the ring than he did Cena in those two matches. You know, he's always willing to give, and it's like also forget everything is still connected because you're also still connecting what Rock spoke to Cody back in 2013. You know, it's like he has a mind for the business. He grew up in the business. I don't know why people have this idea, the fact that he is like, you know, trying to hog up the spotlight that and the third. I get it. Someone of his magnitude, I guess, is, you know, sometimes could be overbearing on others who are basically underneath that and trying to get up. But at the same time, if it's for a person like Rock, like you would want him to help the business in that way. And you did hit it on the head in terms of his selflessness and able to give and help bring others up through his IQ in terms of creating.
Yeah, what people confuse is day to day and then long term, right? So they'll say, "Oh my God, here comes Rock again to insert himself into WrestleMania." Okay, so maybe for that SmackDown episode or that Raw episode, he is the main piece, but he's selling what's down the line, right? Like, no matter what, even he came back last year. There was a rumor. Let's just take this. There was a rumor he was going to take on Roman when Roman was champ. He was going to beat Roman for the championship. Unless that belt is now retired and Rock leaves with that belt and is never defended again, that equity that he built in coming on TV, bringing those eyeballs, beating Roman Reigns is going to go to somebody else. And my assumption is going to be that somebody else was probably Cody Rhodes. So even if he was to insert himself into the WrestleMania main event this year and take John Cena out, and he takes on Cody Rhodes, and he beats Cody Rhodes in night 2 of WrestleMania 41, when they get to WrestleMania 42, if that's the next time he wrestles and he drops that title, it was about putting over that person he wrestled the next year, not what happened in the moment. And so many people don't understand that. They just look at it as what's happening on Monday Night Raw, what's happening on Friday Night SmackDown, and then what's happening at the next PLE, not what's happening at the next major PLE, not what's happening a year from now, not what's happening a year and a half from now. It's just for them about what's happening tonight. And that's the wrong way to look at the business. We've seen people before who all they cared about was themselves. Some people may still be in the business like that. I just don't take Rock to be that. I do think he wants to be loved.
That's a major flaw of his. But I do know in terms of him giving back to the business, he does not have to do this at all. But the fact that he still loves the business enough to do it, you know, it shows that there's a genuineness in terms of what he contributes to the WWE.
Yep. And or Rhodesia, anything you guys want to add about the main event? John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Travis Scott, The Rock, before we move on to Jade returning.
I still put this under the Bloodline storyline because it's the final boss in there. So I don't ever book. Oh, so Randy, I don't ever book the Bloodline. I'm just here for the ride. I'm on the roller coaster ride with my seatbelt on, and I'm willing to go wherever it goes.
Same here. Mm-hmm.
He's on mute, so we'll move on. All right, so we got our Jade return, and boy, another thing they did perfect. I said on the pod a couple weeks ago, I said what I thought they may do was they do a spot where Bianca and Naomi's in the ring together. Jade comes out, she looks at both of them, and then she attacks who attacked her. They went even better with going with the Liv Morgan part of it and then attacking Naomi. Naomi got her ass beat. Jade looked incredible. I didn't think she could look any better. She proved me wrong. She looked so good. Bianca give her Academy Award for Best Actress while she was in that pod. I think we all know now kind of how this is playing out. Bianca's had something to do with it. Maybe she's the entire mastermind behind this. But what's your guys' thoughts on her coming back and then where they are going with this entire storyline of who did it, who done it, who was a part of it, just everything with it?
Well, I loved it. I loved it. As you said, Jay came down looking absolutely fantastic. Like, right, came down there all black, just looking beautiful, right? And man, she whooped on Naomi's ass. Just whooped on that ass, like so bad. And it's like, okay, so we have Bianca in the women's match at Mania. I guess there is time between now and then. But Naomi and Jade can't be a Mania match at this point because Jade already done came down and whooped her ass for everybody to see. Like, right? It almost seems like she already got back at her because she slammed the door in the face. Like, right? Now, Naomi had the arm up. She kind of blocked it. So I don't know if they're going to try to, that was like, oh, she saved herself, or they're going to try to play it off like she really hit her. But if they're going to play it off like she really hit her, and that, like, Naomi should be out for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah.
She's like, right? Like, now, like she, like in one night, she got her comeback. Right? So I'm thinking like the bigger story has to be that, okay, this is a meditated plan, maybe between Naomi and Bianca, or maybe, like, because I'm thinking like, why did she go after Naomi first? Like, right? Did she go after Naomi first because Naomi's the one who threw her through the glass? Like, right? Or did she go after Naomi because that was Bianca's toy? Like, right? It was Bianca the whole time. And so, oh, this is the bitch you want to replace me with? Here she go right here. Like, and she mopped the ring with her. Like right? Here's your girl right here. Boom. Here's your girl right here. Boom. As she's throwing boots on her. Slams the door on her face. Right? So, really the issue is between Bianca and Jade, and Naomi was collateral damage. But at the same time, like, where are we going to see the fruits of that feud? Because we know where Bianca's future is going to be come WrestleMania.
Yeah, I feel like we don't get to that point till after Mania. Like, even they announced Jade for SmackDown this Friday. Well, if she knew Bianca was an issue, she would have showed up on Raw Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she came and got her a piece of Naomi's ass the way she did on Saturday, she damn sure could have showed up on Raw Monday and did the same to Bianca. So that means that she hasn't put two and two together yet. And the way Bianca is looking in the all white, she's another one that, oh my God, that woman is, if you, whatever, she is, there are certain people in the world, I talk about this with Rhodesia a lot, there are certain people in the world that you look at and you can just say, I don't know how anybody would say that person is not attractive. You don't have to be sexually attracted to them, right? But you will look and just say, that person's attractive. I always felt like Bianca was that person that you had to be just a racist if you didn't think she was attractive. She looks incredible. So the way she looked Monday with all white, and there was a screen grab that people put on Twitter, and it was on Instagram too, of after Iyo won and her kind of like nodding her head. And I was like, oh boy, that is the hill of all hills incoming right now for Bianca. So they're going to intertwine her into two different feuds. She's got the whole Iyo and Rhea, and I think after WrestleMania is when they somehow pivot to the truth coming out. So maybe to your point, maybe Naomi doesn't show up. I mean, I think even though she beat the hell out of Naomi, you got to get Naomi a WrestleMania match. You got to get Jade a WrestleMania match. Bianca's spoken for, as we knew she would be. So somehow get back to that. It's going to be interesting to see that when Naomi comes back, if she just goes, I had nothing to do with it. It wasn't me, or they do turn her heel, or if she still tries to protect Bianca.
But hold on, Matt. Like, talk through this for a second. I want to. So this is wrestling. I don't like to let wrestling bookers, Paul, whoever, get off the hook on some of this shit. Like, right? Jay whooped her ass, smashed the door in her face, right? Why would Naomi at this point want to come back down and explain anything? At this point, I'm putting hands on you, right? At this point, it's on now. All right, I threw you through a glass. You rammed the door in my head. We fighting. There's no explanation about it. Like, even if Naomi is innocent, right? And now she is pride. Like, she wanted to get her hands on her because she hurt her. She came like, hey, it's a misunderstanding. It's okay that you slammed the door in my head. Let's talk this out. Like they gotta end up in a brawl, right?
Well, that's how you get to the WrestleMania match then. To that point. Because you were kind of saying like, hey, she beat her ass so bad. She got what she came for. Now it's time for Jade to move on. And I just don't think that next part, because you can't have two different feuds on two different shows. Like unless Bianca is going to work both Raw and SmackDown, and that'll make sense. Unless she works 2 nights, and that don't make sense. I just think that doesn't. We don't get a chance to see if they slow walk the dog with this storyline. And Triple H said at the press conference they didn't know when Jay was going to come back, so they were really just kicking the can down the road whenever they could because they weren't sure when she was coming back, and then they found out when she was able to come back. And okay, now, let's go. But I don't think you can't book 2 storylines on 2 separate shows for Bianca. So you gotta wait.
It seemed like they are though, right? It seemed like they are to an extent.
They are, but I'm saying like the whodunit part, like the big reveal of either Bianca used Naomi to do it, or maybe Naomi doesn't even know Bianca was involved. That, I think, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, I don't think is addressed and comes out until after WrestleMania.
I agree.
The fascinating thing is that you think about, we said we need more storylines than women, right? I've always wanted a story with Jay and Bianca, but we got a Mania match that we thought was supposed to happen. It's supposed to be Rhea and Bianca, right? We haven't gotten to it yet, right? I'm slow down, but like the shit's changed, right?
Sure has.
But I kind of feel like that Rhea and Iyo story is not over, right? Not by a long shot. I feel like this Bianca Naomi Jade thing, the story is not over by a long shot. I feel like it's going to be intertwined in some type of a way. So now we got one match supposed to be between 2 people, but there's 5 people involved in various different things, right? And it can all kind of go different ways. So it's interesting to see what could possibly happen once we get to Mania with these 5 women.
Randy, how shocked were you that Iyo won on Monday night?
I was genuinely shocked. So to Triple H, I apologize for saying the fact that you took too long, or you ain't doing nothing with the women, and Sean's a better booker than you, even though he still is by a long shot. But I apologize, man. I did not know you still had that in your game. I just thought that you were the guy that just recruits and just does the press is like 36,000 in tonight. I thought he was just more so that guy. And not just my brother's boss. Nah, I was shocked, man. I was shocked to see like the way it looked, especially how Rhea lost. It's like you see Bianca turning, but yet you're making Rhea a tween in this little entanglement that they have, because Rhea's never beaten Iyo. So now you use the fact that even though Rhea is a babyface in her own right, and she's like the de facto star on Raw, to lose to Iyo because she has your number, and the reason for it is someone that someone who you competed with in NXT but never really got that full one-on-one with, and still got some unfinished history. It was almost like it kind of reminded me of like when all Roman had to do was hit Cody with the chair, but you were focused on Seth, and you'd still be champion.
Right.
Rhea was focused on Bianca.
Charlotte told her.
Capitalized.
Charlotte told her a couple weeks ago, you are a little girl still. Remember, she told her. That's why I said that these promos, they are doing a fantastic job of us being able just to point back to a promo from weeks ago or months ago and being like, damn, that person called it. Yeah, you remember when they said this? I was probably more shocked about Iyo winning than I was Cena turning heel in that moment.
Yeah.
I didn't think that, because everybody online was talking about this triple threat. I'm like, man, the hell with a triple threat. Only reason why a triple threat makes sense is because if we look at a proper build for WrestleMania, you probably need more than 6 weeks to build up Rhea and Bianca one-on-one.
Yeah.
So cool. And, I love me some Iyo. I am a massive Iyo Sky fan. But it wasn't until Bianca got involved physically where I was like, oh shit, Rhea's losing this match. It wasn't until that point. So that was like 30 seconds before the match was over. It caught me by straight surprise. You know, I didn't know if they were going to do, because of course when she got involved, I thought I was like, oh, they're going to do a DQ finish here. That is Iyo's, reason for saying that she got screwed, and then we just make it a triple threat. That's old school wrestling 101 booking. That's simple, just 1 + 1 = 2. Oh, we'll just do a count out finish. Babyface has an issue. Authority figure adds him to the match. But once again, like, they're going above and beyond with some of this storytelling. So they do that. They have Jessica not call the DQ, which I don't know how you don't call the DQ when she physically put hands on her. But okay, whatever, because I'm sure that's part of Rhea's thing she'll be able to say is like, I got involved. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't even go that way. Maybe she goes the high road and just says, it's all on me. I messed up. I need to fight back somehow to get involved in the WrestleMania match. I think we all know it's going to be a triple threat. But yeah, I was shocked that Iyo won against Rhea. And that was so cool to see that too, was because we go from what they gave us on Saturday night to having a women's title change on Monday Night Raw. It's like, that was a hell of a 48-hour time period for WWE when it comes to just the news, let alone the in-ring work, which we hadn't talked a second about. That a lot of these matches were great matches, very good to great matches, but the stories, man, now we are in full gear to WrestleMania. No pun intended, full gear. But everybody who's talking that talk just a couple weeks ago, man, WrestleMania bill feels lackluster. And I said, I'm like, look, you got a stadium show that you got to promote still. Now we're done with that stadium show and things are starting to look up, and we're looking pretty good for Mania.
Nah, for sure. For sure.
Last question on the women. Take out, you probably can't do it. Take out how much Liv was pushed with the championship belt this year. Where does she rank in regards to overall performer right now in WWE on the women's side?
Ooh. She's definitely top 3, mostly because of the fact that she's really, really improved and become consistent. Like, I remember when she was first champion and like the thing, she lost it to Ronda Rousey, if I remember.
I think so, yeah.
And I'm like, she wasn't necessarily ready. Second time they tried with her, she still necessarily wasn't ready because she's like, you knew she had something to her, but nothing really stuck until Rhea happened. And then over time, she really started to kind of like figure it out. And then up until that point where it's like, she's at that point where you don't necessarily need the Judgment Day anymore. You can go branch out and do what you need to do on your own. You can use Raquel as your bodyguard, however, but she's done enough to kind of like, all right, I've crossed a threshold already, solo. I don't even need Dom anymore at that particular time, because not just my character, but her ring work has exemplified it. Her character work has also like really been up to par. And to see how like she's become more comfortable with herself as a character and as a person. And I think that's the best part about having reps as much as they have under Triple H. Because under Vince, you'd have your reps, but then he'll stop it if he didn't like it and then go to something else that completely does not work and offsets the balance and the momentum of that person. I think under Trips now, I think the difference between Trips and Vince now, I think Trips would stay longer with a story and allow a character to flesh out more of themselves as long as it's working. And he's done that with Liv, and she's capitalized off that opportunity. From being a champion, now being a tag champion, being in a faction, being one of the main stars of that faction, and then, of course, still improving. And the fact that she's still young. Youth is a beautiful thing to have on your side.
Yep.
And at the same time, like, you still haven't scratched the surface. 4 or 5 years ago, people were kind of frantically worried about like what would the women's division do without the 4 horsewomen. Now you only have like one that's currently active. No, two. Sorry, Bailey. You have two that's currently active in the WWE, and of course, Mercedes and in AEW. Granted, Becky's been filming for Star Trek, so I understand that. So she's been gone for a while, so she's been filming. But outside of that, it's like, you were able to basically cultivate an Iyo Sky. Asuka's always going to be a fixture. Even though I wish Shayna Baszler would be more of the fabric, she's still there. On SmackDown, you have Mia Yim, who I felt was most improved, in my opinion, last year in terms as a character and a performer. Chelsea Green is killing it as Miss America with the United States Championship. So when you look at it, twofold, going back to Liv, she's definitely top 3 because of what she's done in all major levels as a champion, as a mid-card act, as a side act, and as a tag team champion now. So any fixture you put her on the show, she's been able to thrive or have an impact on it. So I got to give, all my props and respect to Liv and say that she's top 3 in that category.
Okay. E, what you think?
I like Liv, man. I know you guys were down on Liv like earlier in the year with her title reign and whatnot. I thought she did a pretty good job with everything she's done since she's turned heel. I think her personality and character has really gotten better over time. I like what she did with Judgment Day. If you look at some of her segments with Judgment Day, just on Raw, she's really good. She plays a really nice, like, it's not even a stereotypical like bitchy heel. Like, this is a very She's like just a nasty woman. Just a very evil, nasty woman. Like, and I think the storyline with Dom is still playing out. Like, right. I feel like, it seems like she's like the submissive one with them, but it seems like she's the one playing this dude. Like, right, it's going to be when it's all said and done, right? She kind of manipulates him a little bit. So I think she's done a great job. I think her ring work is fine. Her character work has been even better. I think on the microphone is what she's really shined in. She can actually take the microphone and command the audience for some time. And I think that's valuable in that space, especially on the Raw when you need to take up TV time. You can give her the mic, and she can carry it for about 5 or 6 minutes. So I think Liv has done a great job since turning heel.
Yeah, I have her as my MVP. I think she's the MVP of the women's division for the last 12 months because you can put her in any slot. Same thing I kind of said about with Chelsea, but Chelsea is different because Chelsea right now really isn't known for her in-ring work. We know she can work, but they haven't really leaned on that at all. She can go out there and
comedy with her too.
Yeah, it's you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to go out there and have a great segment. We know how much I've been talking about Chelsea, but with Liv, you can see, hey, you need her to go out there and last 50 minutes in the Royal Rumble, put her in number 1 or number 2. She's got it. If you need her to go start the Elimination Chamber off in the right way and go out there and bump her ass off, cool. If you need her just to do a segment where it's her and Dom, E, to your point, and they need to carry a couple of Judgment Day segments backstage, she can do that too. Hey, you need her to drop the main title and then go and be with Raquel and be tag team champions, she can do that too. And she's been in all those, everything I just said, they've put her in those positions and she's excelled at it in the last 12 months. She is by far my MVP. Rhodesia we were watching the show and she made a comment to me. She's like, all right, you're right. Like, I give it up to Liv. She always had like a little bit of hate. And shout out to my baby. She tried to last as long as she could. She had to tap out. She not feeling good. So
it's all good, man. I wish her speedy recovery.
Yeah. So she'll be back next week, hopefully 100%. But she's like, I had a little bit of hate towards her because of how her title reign was all about Dom. She's like, now once she dropped the title, I could watch her for what was being presented and not my preconceived notions. And she's like, you're right. She's really, really good. So that was cool for her to kind of now to start being able to enjoy Liv, not because of the position they're putting her in, but because of her actual ability that she's able to show.
I just want to say quickly, like, she's currently in her Alexa Bliss pocket right now, if you know what I mean. That's where she's currently. Yeah. I think that's where she's currently at, right? Like her Alexa's peak was like 2017, 2018. And that's exactly where I see Liv right now as we speak.
I mean, you brought up Alexa. Bo Dallas has now been officially cleared to get back on the road. So I am sure now maybe as early as this Friday we get to see Alexa and the Wyatt Six storyline kick up.
She might actually save it.
Yep, and now Alexa thinks I'm talking to her. That's pretty cool. Not talking to you, Alexa. Also coming back, or not really coming back, got released. Should be debuting sometime soon. We already talked about Aleister Black. We know that's happening. Phoenix got his release this week from AEW.
Freedom!
Yes, sir. He also got parole. Him and Ricky. There's some people who were talking about like, hey, wait to Phoenix till after Mania because they want to see Penta continue to cook on his own. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the storyline they've been doing with Pete Dunne and Kaiser. I mean, he's feuding with two people at one time right now. Penta is.
Yeah.
It kind of makes perfect sense for Phoenix to come in. Ask both of you because both of you are very well versed in both Phoenix and Penta's work.
Damn.
And you probably already know where I'm going, huh?
If this sets up at a match at Mania and you see Rey Fenix, but then again, Def Rebel, you have one goddamn job.
Man,
just don't fuck it up.
Man, well, man,
you
may be asking a little too much, brother.
Yeah, I'm
asking a little too much.
I'm asking too much. But
who do you guys think has a we asked a couple weeks ago about the bigger upside between, or we asked who would be a bigger deal out of Trick, Carmelo, and Ricky in like 5 years. I'm not going to ask that, but I am going to ask, who are you more intrigued to see for the next 12 months in WWE? Penta, even though we've already saw a really nice sample size of him for the last few weeks, or is it Phoenix?
Penta, because Phoenix you could just put in NXT. Because like for me, I ain't gonna lie. Like as much as I love the Lucha Brothers, I want to see where Rey Fenix looks on by himself, and I think the main roster is kind of loaded with all that talent right now.
Okay.
So if you put someone like Phoenix in NXT with everything that they got right now, especially in the North American title scene and what they got cooking, you give Shawn Michaels Rey Fenix, it's gonna be lit. Like he don't gotta stay there down that long, but at least until the time being, because WWE right now, this is their playoff season right now.
Yeah,
WrestleMania is like, all right, this is our road to the playoffs. WrestleMania is our NBA Finals, or that's our Super Bowl. I think after that and after the draft and once SummerSlam kind of comes in, when they get their clear picture of what they want to see going into next year's WrestleMania, I think that's when you can, insert Phoenix if it does apply. But obviously right now it's Penta because I think everybody wants to see him, he's already connected with the crowd. Like, not saying Phoenix won't, but I do like the fact that Penta on his own has been able to kind of have that repetition in the ring, connecting with the crowd, and having that interaction. But I won't mind if he shows up and helps Penta, beat Pete Dunne and my boy Kaiser. That would be very, very good. Either way, like fans win, but my answer is Penta.
E, you on mute, brother.
I just like my E.
Oh yeah, I am on mute. But see, look, Granny, this is the time when Big Daddy start getting tired, so I don't be wanting to yawn into the microphone, so I'll be on mute half the time.
This man was on mute about half hour ago too. We just ain't call him out.
Yeah. Look, it's 11. I'm an old man now, man. It's 11:17 Eastern Standard Time. Goddamn it, I'm usually asleep by at least 10:15. I would have been in bed an hour ago, man. I got a night mask and everything, Randy. I'm like lights out for me. Look, but I never wanted to say this out loud. But when we talked about Tony Khan holding Rey hostage, and I was like, who is he hurting? Like,
himself.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, if anything, like if he were to release Rey and let him join WWE, I feel like he'll hurt Penta. Because I feel like Penta right now is what is like that next Rey Mysterio they've been looking for. Like he started connecting on the singles run, and I feel like when Rey comes, what you want to do? You want to reunite the Lucha Brothers. You want to make them a team again. And unfortunately, in wrestling, like the money is in the singles. Like, right? And we were talking about, like, man, another year, I could see maybe Penta, maybe even as soon as WrestleMania, I could see Penta and Braun Breaker, like for a matchup, right? I can see that. Like that's the kind of trajectory he was on. So him being slided back with Rey in the tag team division, like what's a bigger match, Penta and Braun Breaker, or the Lucha Brothers versus Kaiser and Butch?
That's a Vince move.
Sorry to that man.
Yeah, that would have been a Vince move. I ain't gonna hold you.
Like straight up, you think about any tag team match that they would be in would be a step down for Penta to where he was contracted to be, as his popularity has gone. Right. So if the company realizes that and you keep them separate, like I think that Penta, as you said, is the bigger, because like Penta looks so unique. The face paint, the mask, and everything. He looks unique. He looks special, right? I think, I ain't trying to throw shots at Rey. I think Rey has a more generic lucha mask. Like he and Dragon, they look similar, right? One wears drawers, one wears tights. Like, right? They both do flippity flops. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that Rey would get kind of more lost in the shuffle, so to speak, in that environment. And be better off for him. I think they're better off together. But for Penta, I think they're better off split. I think this is more like the Usos. Like Jay is destined for greatness on a singles run.
You are really down on Fenix.
And I think that I think Rey is a solid addition to the roster. Like he's going to have some nice moves and some nice moments. Like but I think he's going to be a mid to lower card guy.
Damn, you saying he's Chavo?
In WWE,
right? Like Wow. I think Penta can be a mid to upper card guy, and he got to do that by himself. He can't do that together.
So
damn.
I'm much higher on Phoenix than you are. When they were in AEW, I thought this is 3 years ago. I thought Phoenix could have been a top heel in AEW, and I thought Phoenix could be a top babyface.
With the hammer, I forgot about that. Good times.
That's what I thought.
Good times.
Of course, Phoenix. He could be whatever they book him to be.
Penta was going to be a heel, and
I thought
Phoenix.
like if they wanted to, they can make Penta a top heel, and they could have made. I see top babyface written on Phoenix now, not in WWE with those heavy hitters. I don't.
Okay,
but I'm high on Phoenix. I am high on Phoenix. My answer would still be Penta, just because of his look. He's got kind of the whole skill set. I just think Phoenix has the babyface look and babyface comeback that the WWE fans will eat up. That's kind of what I look at. So I think he's going to be what they've been looking for and missing. They've been trying to find, it seems like, a damn Mexican star for I don't know how long. They have tried and tried and tried. And that may be a conversation for another day. Like how many they've ran through to try to get their next Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio evidently is once in a lifetime talent because they cannot replicate him as much as they've tried to replicate him. But he could be somebody that they can look at. And
I have one.
Once again, do I think he'll be the next Rey Mysterio? No, but I think he can be much higher up the card than what he feels. I do. Last question, then we can get on about it here. Shout out to everybody who listened and who's watching on YouTube. Y'all know where to find us on X. That's FNW. On Instagram, that's FNW. Of course, on YouTube, that's Freaking Wrestling. Comment, subscribe, like, do all that kind of good stuff. You want to shout out Backstage Brawl? I don't think you gave your handle.
You can follow us on Twitter at Backstage_Brawl. Follow us on Facebook at The Backstage Brawl, as well as Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We be going live on the weekends, on Sundays, approximately around 3:30. That's our airtime on Sundays. And we're on Saturdays during PLEs, depends on the PLE, but we weren't on last Saturday because I was tired as hell.
Life be lifing sometimes, man. Ain't
life be lifing, but
yes, sir.
We will be up for WrestleMania. I'm not sure which night because I might go to a watch party one night, and then I'll be doing the live stream night 2 for sure. We definitely be doing WrestleMania. We'll be definitely doing the watch party here on our YouTube channel. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But outside of that, we do that on Saturdays, and we normally air Sundays. We extend an invite if you guys want to come on at any time on a Sunday. If you just feel free. But yeah, that's pretty much our handles.
Love it. Well, just sending out the invite. Sundays may be a little hard. Sunday nights, I'm down for it. So
no problem. Listen, we're flexible. Like we're flexible. So we're flexible. It don't even got to be like the actual day, but like we can move some things around in terms of what's more available for you guys.
Oh,
we can definitely be flexible with that.
Let's do it. This will not be the last time, of course, we hook
up.
No.
And I definitely want to come back on the show too.
Yes, sir. You already know it. You already know it. Last question for you guys, and it's just a number. Okay? Don't need any other conversation. Just give me your number. What was from 1 to 10 before Elimination Chamber? What was your excitement level? And what is your excitement level as we talk right now? For me, I was at before Elimination Chamber, I was at a 7 for WrestleMania. Right now, I am at a 9.5 for excitement levels.
I was at a 9. I'm at a 10.5. Because that Cena turn, it brought it to a half. Because I was like, God, you said it's about damn time. It's extra credit. It's about damn time. Like,
I was at a 7.5, man. I'm at an 8.
Damn, so it only half a point. All because Cody got left playing with a busted eardrum. That's some bullshit. Perfect way to end the show. We out of here. Thank y'all for listening. We love y'all. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Thank you, guys.